Hi, my name is Len. So many people approach me and ask me, how do you actually learn how to speak English? And you know what? In our courses, what we do is we break them down so that it can be acquired and absorbed by our students. So when you talk about oral communication skills, there are three things that you have to consider. The first is pronunciation. Second, the liaisons. And third, the intonation. Now, let me discuss each of them for you. When you talk about pronunciation, you talk about the different sounds of English. So all in all, there are at least 44 sounds of English. So you talk about the vowels, the consonants, and all the others that are produced there that, are not even in your native tongue. So for example, if you're Chinese, so many of these sounds in English are not actually present in your language. That's what makes it very challenging. Another thing you have to consider is the liaison. So what is it about and what makes it very, very challenging for you? Now, in most languages, people actually speak their language word for word. So in the case of the Filipinos, for example, we have a very phonetic language. So we read words according to how they are spelled. Now, in the case of English, however, there's so many sounds of English that are not actually sounded when you read them. There's so many spellings equivalent to one sound. For example, you have the word heard, which is spelled as H-E-A-R-D. And then you have the word beard, which is almost spelled the same way except for the letter B. It's B-E-A-R-D. However, you pronounce it as beard. And you pronounce the word heard as heard. And then you have the word bird, the one that flies. It's B-I-R-D. And it actually rhymes with the word heard. So that's what makes English a very crazy language. Now, for you to be able to decode this, you have to know liaisons. These are how the words are sounded and how they are actually combined. So when you talk about liaisons, how do we connect the words together? I'm going to give you an example. For most non-English speakers, they would say, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" But English speakers would say, "Can I have a cup of coffee?" So hear the difference there? That's what liaisons is all about. And lastly, we talk about intonation. Okay, so intonation has something to do with the speech or the music of the language. Now, the Chinese language in particular is very tonal. It's what you call a tonal language. And intonation has so many other factors that are into it aside from the typical melody. You talk about stress here, and you talk about pauses, and you talk about rhythm. So intonation has something to do with expressions. How does the language sound? How are the words actually in a melodic pattern? And these are the things that you have to get used to for you to be able to master the English language. As you can see, these are the many challenges that you have to go through so that you can master the sounds of English. And we do it here in our classes in a very systematic and effective way. So you will be speaking English fluently in no time at all.